Hi folks, it's Evo here from Thundermist Lure Company. It is great to see you and welcome to today's episode of Thundermist Fishing Tips, coming to you on December 24th, Christmas Eve day, and it's a pleasure to be doing so. It's bitter cold, but I'm out here looking for walleye today, folks. The water temperature is 39 degrees, so we got some cold water walleyes that we're looking for today. And the bait I'm running actually the new size Flexi-Jig, which is a 3/4 ounce Flexi-Jig, and I've decided to go with the shad type bait, and I'm going to tell you why. The conditions are such that the water is extremely murky. So we're going to talk a little bit about fishing for walleye under murky water conditions and how maybe to up your chances. So let's do that, but let's see if we can get into a fish or two first. So stay tuned, folks. So glad you could join me. Okay, I guess we should have just kept the camera rolling, because here we are, first cast, first fish. And guess what else I just realized? I said, oh, there's one. Where's my net? No net. Too excited to come fishing? No net. That's okay. We will land them netless. Okay, and it's fighting like a walleye, and it feels like a decent one. So I'm going to guess that it's a walleye. So even though these, oh yeah, it's a walleye. It's a nice one. Get all the fight here when it comes to fishing for walleye when you're jigging. Okay, that's a good eater size too. Okay, Bassmaster style into the boat. Okay, that's a nice fish. Look at that. That's a nice walleye for my first cast of the day. Makes it worthwhile driving through the snow to get here today. That is one nice cold water walleye right there. Okay, he's gonna go right in the box. Maybe I'll grab a quick photo and then let's talk a little bit about murky water walleye. Okay, that walleye is right where he belongs, right in my live well. He's gonna make for a nice dinner. But let's talk a little bit about murky water conditions and walleye and how to up your chances a bit. So I had a choice today. Of course, I went with the Flexi-Jig, and I mentioned it's the new 3/4 ounce size, and that is enough to get me down to the bottom in this stronger current here in the Niagara River. But the bait of choice that I'm running today is actually a paddle style, a thumper tail style shad. And the reason I went with that is because it's going to make a lot of vibration out there. So not only do these walleye with this murky water, tough conditions to see, they'll also be able to hear my bait. As opposed to using a straight-tailed style bait, I went with a paddle tail style to up my chances, make a little more noise, and allow that walleye a little more time to see and maybe hear my bait. So that's a definite thing you want to do. The bait choice is very important. The next thing is I'm going with a much slower jig retrieve. I don't want to move my bait really fast if they're having a hard time finding it. So I want a nice slow retrieve, give that walleye a chance to see my bait and find my bait and hit. So that's the second thing I like to do. Now, of course, I'm using braided line, 10 pound with a 10 pound fluoro leader. And regarding the fluoro leader, I like a longer leader as a general rule, but in murky water you can get away with a shorter leader if you want. But mine is still this one's about 10, 12 feet long right now. And the other thing I'd like to mention with murky water, if you're a boatless angler, it's a great opportunity for the boatless angler to get into some nice walleyes, because those walleyes will come closer to shore looking for bait. They're not going to be spooked. So the murky water in a case like that actually gives the boatless angler a little bit of an advantage as well. So as tough as murky water can be, there are a few things you could do, and there are a few advantages you could have when it comes to fishing murky water. And I'm hoping to get into another nice walleye right now, so stay tuned. Oh, that was a bit of a bump, so stay tuned. Oh, that was another nice bite. Oh, let's hope we got ourselves another nice walleye. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention, talking about murky water conditions, the other thing you can do, which I decided to do today, I mentioned the Flexi-Jig, but I went with the chartreuse color because I wanted something a little bit brighter down there again with this murky water, just to give those walleye a chance to see my bait. So I went with a nice chartreuse color to help me as well. Let's see if we can get this fish in, and I got another thing I'd like to share with you with murky water. First things first though, I'm excited to land this fish. I just love, oh yes, that's another nice eater. Look at that. That's another nice eater, folks. Yes. Oh, and there he goes. Okay, that's the luxury of having no net. That's all right. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to mention, along with the color of the jig head and the style of the plastic and the slow retrieve technique, the other thing you could do is use a bait that has some scent. If you have a bait with a little bit of scent, that also gives the walleye an opportunity to also helps them find your bait. That scent is one more advantage you can give yourself when it comes to hooking into some walleye. Now, the other thing I'd like to share, there's a technique that I like to use in current conditions, which keeps your jig out of the current and in the strike zone longer, and it's what I'm going to call a sweeping technique. Basically what you do, you just sweep your jig along the bottom, let it fall down, so you're not hopping it, you're sweeping it along the bottom, let it fall down. You've got a lot of good control this way. And the other thing it really does is it keeps it out of that current, keeps it closer to the bottom and in the strike zone longer. So it's a technique that I like to use when there's a lot of current, heavy current conditions. Okay, let's hope third time's a charm. We shall see. Now that one, I used that sweeping technique. This feels like a nicer fish. I was actually sweeping it along the bottom, and then all of a sudden my line just stopped and I set the hook on him. This feels like a bigger fish. Oh boy, feels like a decent walleye. I'm guessing a walleye. He's got some weight to him though. Holy. I'd like to at least see this fish even if I don't land him. The reason I missed that last fish, with this braided line, it gives you an advantage, but it also gives you a disadvantage in that every time they thrash around, they're making a hole in their mouth with that hook, and they end up spitting it. And look at this, I got a freshwater drum. We got a big sheephead on here, folks. Okay, look, it's a variety of fish today. Oh, and he's peeling drag. No wonder it was big and heavy. I thought I had a nice big heavy walleye. And we got a cold watered sheephead going on here. That's okay. That is just so much fun. Okay. He's fighting really strong. Okay. I think we can get this fish in. Let's get him in. Oh, he just gave a nice little cold water, a nice little cold water splash he gave me. Look at the size of that sheephead. Holy, that's a decent drum. Okay, let's get him. We're gonna get you right back in. Okay, there he goes. Okay, that was what I call a sweeping motion sheephead. Okay, let's see if we get ourselves into another fish. That was fun. Now this one hit way out there. On the drop, I was doing the traditional hop it back technique. Let's hope the fourth time is a charm. Let's see if we can get ourselves a walleye this time. He's feeling heavy again though, so I don't know. It's either going to be a nice sized walleye or who knows, maybe another sheephead. Mind you, there's also lake trout out here this time of year. There's also bass. You know, those fish are also here. So you just never know what you're going to hook into, especially when you're using a jig. But he's not fighting like a lake trout, and he's not fighting like a sheephead. I'm gonna say it's a walleye. So maybe fourth time is a charm. And like I say, with that braided line, when they thrash around like that, that hook in the side of the mouth, it's just, because there's no stretch, it's allowing that hook to just, oh, it's a nice walleye, to just make a hole in the fish's mouth. That's a nice walleye. Oh, look at that. Okay, see if I can get him in without breaking my line. Oh, 10-pound test does the trick. This one wasn't going anywhere. Look at that. That's a nice chunky walleye right there. Isn't that a nice chunk? Look at that. Oh, that's just a beautiful, beautiful cold water walleye. Murky water conditions paying off for me today. Okay. So guess what? Another long cast and another hook set. So as much as that braided line gives you a disadvantage when the fish thrash around and move that hook around in their mouth, it also gives you an advantage, like it did right now for me with these longer casts, and enables me to really set the hook with no stretch in that line and get myself a nice hook set. It's fighting like a walleye. I'm gonna say I got myself another nice walleye here, folks. So the technique is working. It's paying off in this murky water. Those little techniques are definitely paying dividends for me. And I'm having myself just a fantastic day out here today. Loving every minute of it. Okay, I loosen up on the drag just a bit. Feels like another decent fish. There he is. That's a nice walleye. That's another nice eater. Okay. In the boat he comes. There we go. Another nice Niagara River white tip on the tail walleye. Perfect, perfect eater. And boy, did he want that bait. He just inhaled it. Inhaled it. Oh, did he ever? He wanted that bait like badly. That's the thing with walleye. They will bite. Of course, you get them ice fishing. They bite all year round, the walleye. There we go. Isn't that a nice chunk? That's a beautiful chunk. Okay. I think I got enough. Definitely got enough for a nice holiday fish fry. Speaking of holiday, last year we came to you. Yes, as you know, we post all our episodes every Tuesday. And last year Tuesday fell on Christmas, and we came to you fishing from shore, boatless, and fishing for walleye on Christmas Day. So today we're fishing for walleye again, but on Christmas Eve day. And I'd like to take this opportunity, no matter where you are or what you celebrate, to wish you a very Merry Christmas or a happy holiday. And wherever you're tuning in from, I hope you take some time and enjoy the holiday season with friends and family. And I also want to thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Thundermist Fishing Tips. And as always, folks, until next time, good luck and good fishing. What a day I'm having.